Hello folks, welcome back to episode 2 of Soup Empire. Episode 1, my first video, actually got a handful of views, which was amazing. I didn't expect anybody to watch it at all, but it was really nice. Just a handful of people obviously found it, had a little watch, and if you're one of those people, thank you very much. So we're getting started with episode 2 here. If you recall, if you watched episode 1, we finished off with a monstrous ploughing contract. That's now finished, it's all been collected. You can see the money has gone up a little bit in the top right hand corner, and we're going to head back and drop off this plough at the farm, and while we do that we'll have a little talk about what we're going to do today. Just running a stop sign here, nothing to see. So what we're going to do today, we've got one field and ideally I want to put a crop in it now. Pop the crop in, get it all seeded so that it's growing and it's ready to go for next year. But the first thing that I want to do is I am looking at my tractor here when I don't want to be looking at my tractor. I want to be looking at my seeder. And I'm going to head over to look at the seeder in just a moment once I've gone through the rigmarole of looking for the wrong thing. I just want to know if the seeder is a direct drill. In other words, do I need to cultivate my field before I put my crop into it? Now I'm still obsessively looking for my tractor here before I realise that it's not the tractor that I'm interested in, it's the seeder. So we'll be off this menu and we're going over to the seeder to have a look. It's made by Pottinger. So I'm going to have a quick look at which model it is, and then we're going to go into the shop and we're going to have a look at the specifications and find out if this thing is a direct drill or if I need to do some cultivating. So we're messing around in the shop a little bit, looking for Pottinger. There they are, and we will find our seeder as the most expensive item on the list, as it happens. And we can see here that it's actually got the name, the 5000 DD. Now, call me naive, but I assumed that DD stood for direct drill. However, if you read the description below, the direct drills always say that this seeder does not need to have the field cultivated before use. It will cultivate as it goes. And mine doesn't say that. So, I've got no idea what DD stands for in this particular case, but it's looking very much like we're going to have to go and cultivate that field before we can bring the seeder down and actually plant some seed into the ground. Alright, so now we know we've got some cultivating to do. So we'll get off this menu, we'll get back over to the tractor. We're going to put the cultivator on the steer tractor rather than the Kubota. I just know that the steer tractor's got a little bit more horsepower under the hood, and the cultivator that we got is quite a big one. Quick check of the contracts. Is there any ploughing? That might have swayed my decision on which tractor to use. No ploughing contracts. Okay, let's go grab the steer and we'll go get the cultivator and we'll head down to the field and we'll get it cultivated. Now, if I could only remember where I put that thing. Is it over there? There it is. Yep. I'm going to drive right past it, ignore it, and then come back and get it in a minute. So I'll get the cultivator. I'll drive down to the field and then we will cultivate and I'll do all this on a time lapse. So I'll see you guys once the field is all done and ready to go with seeding.
Well, I saddled up my shoes, headed out at dawn. Yeah, I saddled up my shoes, headed out at dawn. Ain't no place gonna hold me when the road keep rolling on. Left my baby crying, said you can't live that way. Left my baby crying, says you can't live that way. I told her love ain't chained down, it just comes and drifts away. Yeah.
Okay, just finishing up the last bit of cultivating just here. You might have seen me go through the calendar a little bit while we were time-lapsing there, just trying to decide on the best crop to put in here really. I toyed with the idea of a rye, a barley, a wheat, something that I could swath and bale, but given, as we saw in the last episode, we only get 4 bales off this field, And I don't believe that liming it and fertilising it and all the rest of it is going to get us a great number of bales, maybe an extra 1, 2 if we're lucky. So I think I'm going to put in canola. Anybody that plays Farm Sim knows that canola is a great go-to crop if you want to make a little bit of money out of a small field like this. It's not going to be enough to buy the big field, but it's going to keep the bank manager happy, I guess. So we're going to go with canola. So we're going to head back and we're going to get the seeder. I think what we'll have a look for though, there was no ploughing contract, but while we've got the cultivator attached to the steer, let's have a look and see if there's a nice cultivating contract that can earn us a little bit of cash in this episode. I did see a couple around the 6,000, 8,000 mark, which is a decent payout. Also means it's going to be quite a sizable field, so it's going to take a while. But as I mentioned earlier, the way I want to do contracts really is to employ helpers to do the contracts for me while I get on with other stuff. I really want to work our fields rather than work in other people's fields. But the contracts are a really nice way. You can just have them drive up, have them do the job and collect the money. So we'll park up the cultivator. I think last time I said I don't like reversing stuff. I'll have a go. You're going to see me have a go a little bit later. I might chop that out, it's quite embarrassing. So we're going to dump the cultivator here. We are probably going to have a look for a contract in a minute. But what I'm thinking is, if we have the steer do the cultivating, because it requires a fair amount of horsepower, it's a big cultivator, we'll use the Kubota on the seed drill. So check the seed drill. The seed drill needs 200 horsepower. The Kubota has 200 horsepower. I'm just double checking to make sure I've got my mathematics correct. Sure enough, 200 horsepower required on the seeder. However, I don't like these skinny tyres, so I think the first thing we'll do with this Kubota, we have a garage in the farm, which is amazing. It means we don't have to drive and get lost on the way down to the shop to do any repairs or to do any repaints, or in this case to do a little bit of customization. I'd like to put some chunkier tyres on this to give us a little bit more traction, because even though we've got the horsepower, these skinny tyres might cause us a bit of an issue trying to pull that seed drill. So we'll go and have a look and we'll customise and see what sorts of options we've got. There's the Kubota. So when we look at customise, we're on the narrow tyres, as you can see at the moment. We'll have a flick through. I'm not a big fan of the double wheel setups. I'm sure they've got their uses, but it's not really for me. I'm not a huge fan. But here we go, putting on some bigger, chunkier tyres, some nice wide tyres. It's going to cost us a couple of thousand, but I think it's worth it in the end. So that's looking pretty good. Now, I'm not entirely sure whether having the wide tyres on does give you more traction. You know, when it's wet, when it's muddy, gives you a little bit more pulling power. I don't know. Don't know if the mechanics work like that, but I do know that I much prefer the look of the thicker tyres. So we're going to spend the $2,000. I think it's money well spent, even if it ends up, you know, just with a slightly nicer looking tractor. Because what I'm thinking we're doing is we're going to send the steer and the cultivator off to do a contract for us, and we'll take the Kubota down to the field and we'll sow the canola crop into it. What we don't have at the moment, there's our doggy again, what we don't have is seeds and fertiliser. Now I'm thinking that this pottinger is going to do fertilising as it goes. As you're going to see shortly, that is not the case. However, we're going to hook up, we're going to go down to the field, and then we'll buy the stuff that we need, certainly buy the seeds, we'll buy the fertiliser, and then we'll go pick it up. I'm still learning the map, I will be honest guys, still learning my way around, so I'm probably going to time lapse, I'm probably going to cut some bits out of these journeys, because for the simple reason that I get lost quite a lot, and you guys don't need to see that, unless you like having a laugh at people getting lost a little bit. So we'll get the tractor down to the field, we'll just double check, make sure that we can sow the canola, autosave, quick sip of tea, for those who know. We can do barley, we can do canola. If we have a little bit further down this list, you can see the peas in there, but the peas that we want to do, we can't do until next year. So we'll get going, we'll head down with the Kubota, and we'll begin the process of fertilising. But before we do that, seeding, I'm sorry. But before we do that, we need to buy the seeds, we need to buy the fertiliser. So a couple of bags of seeds, 1,260. Absolute bargain, considering how many thousands the crop will make for us. And while we're here, we'll head over to the yield improvements and we'll buy some fertiliser, which we're not going to need, spoiler alert, but anyway, I'm about to find that out. So let's grab this. We spent the money on fertiliser, 1,920. Now let's go back to the Kubota. We'll move it down to the field and then we'll go pick up the seeds and fertiliser. And I think to do that I'm going to use my lizard dragon. I buy one of these in every series or every playthrough that I do. As I mentioned in the last episode, this is my first actual YouTube series on Farming Simulator. But we're going to head and we're going to go down and we're going to pick those things up. So here we are in the lizard dragon. Beautiful little vehicle, dead handy for jobs like this. It's nice and fast. Hello doggy. Nice and fast. It can do up to sort of 65 miles an hour. So we'll head down to the shop or the store, we'll pick up the seeds, we'll pick up the fertiliser, we'll come back, drop those off and continue on our merry way. So I will see you guys at the store. As we're pulling into the shop here, guys, I think it's time to fess up and let you guys know that I do use another mod that you're about to see. There it is, Universal Auto Load. Absolutely super mod for people like me who are rubbish with telehandlers and rubbish with front loaders and pallet forks and all that kind of thing. Bit of a lifesaver, allows you to get things onto the back of your flatbed with the minimum of fuss. I do have super strength installed, which you'll see me use from time to time. I try to avoid using super strength because while Universal Auto Load is a little bit cheaty, I think super strength is super cheaty. I mean, you can literally pick up a combine harvester and put it down wherever you want it to be, and I think that's a little bit over the top. But I like to imagine in my mind that when you get down to the store and you've got 4 massive bags of stuff and you haven't brought any type of telehandler to pick them up, the store kind of helps you out, popping stuff on the back there for you. So we'll roleplay that a little bit and we'll just pretend that some very helpful person at the store got the forklift out and sorted us out. So we will head back to the farm, fill up the cedar, and we'll head down to the field and we'll get our first crop on this map sown. Very exciting. And here we go. We're just unfolding the cedar for the first time. That's me just checking the buttons to make sure I'll get the right buttons to switch on and lower. And here we go. We're going to go and seed some wheat. No, we didn't want to do wheat. We wanted to do canola. I'm now frantically pressing the button to try and figure out which button we can use to change to canola. Turns out it's the Y button, but you can't do it while your cedar is on. So turn that off, change it to canola, cedar back on, lowered, and away we go. I like to use the steering assist, guys, just because it helps me to cover the field in as an efficient way as possible. You'll see me using the steering assist a little bit during this series. I don't like the way those lines are though. Come on now, there we are, straight lines, much better. Okay, perfect, and we're off. And if you guys don't use this, by the way, it's well worth doing. I think everybody probably does. Plays Farming Simulator, you're aware of this. It's just going to map the field out for you. It's going to show you the best way to get around the field and cover it in the most efficient way possible. But before we do that, we are going to pick up that cultivating contract. I mentioned it was 6,000, 8,000. You can see Walter's got one there for 6,000. Noah's got one for 4,000, and Katie's got one there for 8,500. So I think while we seed this field, we'll get our helper to get on this contract and get some money into the bank for us. Oh, we didn't collect the ploughing contract. I thought we'd collected that. almost like free money. Perfect. Okay, so as I mentioned in the last episode, guys, I like to use the universal auto drive. Just auto drive. And the reason for that is on these player created maps, i.e. the maps that have not been made by giants themselves, the people that make Farming Simulator, the AI drivers, I found this to be a little bit problematic, getting from A to B on these more sort of player community created maps, which this one is. I find that with Autodrive, the guys at Autodrive are amazing. Not only have they created the mod, but for the most popular maps they've also created routes that you just simply download. There's tutorials out there to show you how to do it. You download the route and away they go, and it's much more reliable than the AI helpers in the player created maps, i.e. the ones that aren't done by giants. So here we are, let's get seeding. We're going to get our very first crop in the ground on this map, and it is very exciting. It's going to be canola, and away we go.
Morning comes too early, hands already warm, working for a better day, trying to keep me warm. Boss man count his tally, we just count our turn. Fair don't come easy, I had to stand and fight for mine. Oh Lord, hear me now.
So there we go, the canola's in, the first crop on our new map. As you probably noticed, I wasn't able to put fertiliser. I think I hinted at this earlier on in the video. I wasn't able to put fertiliser in this seeder because it doesn't take fertiliser. It's just simply a seeder. So we are going to need to fertilise this particular field. I say this particular field, our only field. We are going to need to fertilise this when the crop germinates next month, but that's okay. We've got a sprayer. We obviously can't use the solid fertiliser that we bought with our sprayer, which is a bit of a shame, but that's a bit of solid fertiliser that we'll keep for something in the future, I guess. But for now, we'll head back and we'll pop the seeder away. We'll check on the progress of the contract. What I did off camera was set off the worker. The worker arrived successfully with auto drive, and set that off. You can see the progress in the top right hand corner right there. They're 50% done already, which is amazing. So we've got a little bit of time, just while we wait for the worker to complete what it is they're doing. So we'll use that time to make a bit of a pillock of ourselves, attempting to reverse this seed drill into that little gap just there. Okay, so you drive left to go right, and you drive right to go left, unless you're looking at your vehicle from the other side, in which case you drive right to go right, you drive left to go left. We're going to hit the post. Let's try again. So we're coming out. I'm so tempted to cut this out, I really am, but I just want to give you guys a flavour of why I park things where I do, why I use autoloader. My vehicle skills are not amazing on this game, but it looks like this time, yeah, there we go, we've got it. The drill is in the shed. Amazing. So future attempts to reverse things. I mean, when I first started playing Farming Simulator, I couldn't have done that to save my life, to be perfectly honest with you. I couldn't have done that with any vehicle. So we're just checking out the rollers now. If you roll your field after you've seeded it, after you've drilled it, you get a small bonus to your yield. The roller itself is £68,000, which is too much. Checking the used sale just there isn't one in the used sale, so I think this particular year, this particular season, we won't worry too much about rolling our field, but we will be looking at that at some point in the future. So what we're doing now is looking to make a little bit of money. Basically, there's a couple of bits of equipment on the farm that I don't really need to use, to be honest. We've got a cultivator, for example, that we can sell, but I'm looking at this. This thing is used for making, I think it's used for making total mixed ration, which is a food that you can feed to your cows to make them nice and fat. If we were to sell this from the menu, we'd get 32,434, but I know that if we were to go grab it and drive it down to the shop, we'd get a little bit more money for it. So that's what we're going to do. Here it is, we're going to grab it, we're going to take it down to the shop. If it needs a repair, we'll give it a repair and a repaint and that kind of thing. And you just make a little bit more money by taking your equipment to the store to sell it, rather than just selling it through the menu. If you need a very quick sale, a very quick pot of cash, by all means, sell through the menu. But our helper is on 61%, so we've got a little bit of time. We can have a little drive down, and we can sell this. Before we go though, I'm just going to check. I don't think I can, but we'll just check. If I were to reverse this into our garage, I mean, look at that reversing job. Look at that. Is that not a thing of beauty? Maybe not. I'm just going to see if I can pop it in here and sell it instead, which will save me the trip to the shop. Let's have a little look. I know I can repair it. Let's have a little look. No, there's no sell option. So we're going to have to drive down to the shop, which gives us the opportunity for two things. One, get to know the map a little bit better, and two, get lost on the way down there. And I will leave it in, because I guess sometimes some people like to watch videos of people not being very good at things. So for me, reversing, using a telehandler, and finding my way around the map are three things that you can have a little chuckle at if you want to. I have learned to turn left here though. So let me time lapse my interesting trip to the shop, and I will see you when we're there. Enjoy. So here we are, guys, we've arrived at the shop. Hope you enjoyed the trip. Took a few wrong turns, used the map a couple of times, went the wrong way up the main road. Anyway, we're here. We need to find a place where we can sell our gear. Right in front of us, there it is. We just need to get this thing reversed, or no, let's not bother reversing. Let's just drive it straight in. Remember, 32,343 if we sold it through the menu. Let's see what we can get by taking the time to bring the vehicle down here. We'll give it we don't need to repair it, actually, it's got no damage. Let's sell it 35,572. Okay, that's brilliant. That's an extra £3,000 for making the trip. Definitely worth it, despite all the wrong turns, getting out, looking at the A to Z, all that kind of thing. Always worthwhile bringing the gear down to the shop. Might have a look and see actually if there's something I can build up at the farm to help me sell the gear, repair the. I know I can repair the gear in the garage, but maybe to help me sell the gear without having to make the trip. Because at the moment the trip is quite painful, I will be honest. So what I'm doing here, I've mentioned the auto drive earlier in the video. I'm just setting the destination for this particular tractor. We're going to get one of our helpers to drive us back here, and we're going to pop them in field 7, which is a field very close to our own. It's the one next door to the sunflowers. So the auto drive is on its way back. So just to sum up, guys, just while we're driving back here, I think we made some really good progress today. We were able to cultivate our single field and sow some canola in it, ready for harvesting and a little bit of profit next year. We have the helper, who is 86% of the way through the contract, doing the cultivating. But I think buying that bigger cultivator at the start of the series was a pretty good idea, to be honest. Just getting that going while we're doing work on our own field. So just having a look around the fields here, you can see the prices. I mean, this one's 118,000. It's half sandy loam, half loam. There's a few choices. The fields up in this top left, they're really good. They've got really good loam soil in them. So the yields, if you don't know about Farming Simulator, every field has a soil type, and sometimes multiple soil types. Sandy loam there, for example, is not the best soil type. It's not the worst, but it's not the best. This field's got sandy loam, and they want 183,000 for that. Crikey. That's got some loam in it. Loam is the best, by the way. If you can get some field with some loam in it, that's definitely the best type of field, and it will give you the best type of yield. So having a look around, haven't quite made my mind up yet about which field I want to get next. And remember, this is going to be the pea field, guys. Hoping to get one with a crop in it that we can harvest. A combinable crop would be good because we've got the harvester, we've got the header. We don't have any gear equipment at the moment for harvesting veggies. So if we were to take a field or buy a field that had carrots, parsnips, potatoes, beets, whatever it was, we'd struggle to harvest that and make a profit because the equipment is very expensive to harvest those things. Oh, hello, there's our helper just there, cultivating this field and making us some money. Looks like we might be on a little bit of a collision course. Guys, this is our gear, don't hit each other. Okay, no, we're good. Looks like the helper's only got a little bit to finish up just there. As you can see, maybe just one more pass around the headland. They're on 97%. Where was I? Yeah, so hiring the gear to harvest a field of vegetables, your carrots and your potatoes, it's expensive, and probably wouldn't make us an awful lot of money. In fact, we'd probably make a loss on that. So we may be looking for a field with either no crop in it or a combinable crop, something that we can harvest with our Massey Ferguson combine harvester. Not quite made up my mind on which field I want to go for just yet, but there's a few options around us. The main thing is we're going to need somewhere between 120,000 and 140,000 pounds. Could this helper drive any slower? Once we've got that cash, we'll be able to buy one of these fields near the farm. I want to keep our fields near the farm if we can, just because it's a little bit easier, to get to them, to do the work that you need to do. But we are coming up on the end here, guys. The contract is finished. You just saw that in the top left-hand corner. The helper has arrived at the field, driving in somebody else's field, but thankfully doing no damage. Confirmation there we've arrived home. So we're coming to the end of the video. I'd just like to thank everybody for watching the first video, and if you found the second video, thanks for watching, really appreciate it. If you're enjoying what you're seeing, just a bit of simple farming simulator, please consider subscribing. We'll just collect the money from this contract, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.